Welcome back, garden gnomes. Today's kind of exciting because it's the first day that we get to actually clip down some of our gourds. I have been waiting for this day, and there are so many of them. But before we get to clipping, let's take a look at the plant itself. So the entire thing is actually grown out of this medium-sized planter. But look at the stalk on this thing. It does have a few roots in the ground, but overall it's not bad. Come this winter, I'm not going to have any problem removing it from this spot. So like, you can rock it pretty good from each side, but if you push too far, you can feel a little resistance. So we don't want to break those roots off. And it's growing on the frame of this old greenhouse. The plastic I had over it only lasted for a couple months, but it did what I needed it to do as far as getting my baby started for spring. And then we have this nice sturdy garden fence to keep the dogs from digging in there. Just kind of let it go crazy down that way. If you guys have seen a few of my recent videos, you know that it even tried to take over my corn patch at one point. So we've been battling the vines like crazy, just kind of shaping them along where we want to go. I even lost my garden gate at one point and had to just hack in there like Indiana Jones. Little vines trying to block my way between the gourd dipper vines and the nasturtium vines, which I just said in the last video, guys. I've never grown them before. I had no idea that these things vine out. And I can't believe that I used to actually have any sort of vegetable matter in my garden beds because the nasturtiums have completely taken over. In the last video, we dug up our potatoes. That is literally the only patch of bare ground that I have right now. But it is Halloween, so it'll all be gone too soon. Just enjoying it while I have it. Checked on the beans that we planted in one of our most recent garden videos. We took a break for a couple weeks, guys. We haven't been online very much. We took a lovely vacation. It was awesome. You can find all kinds of stuff about that on our Patreon. It's actually quite a cool story. It was a once-in-a-lifetime thing, and we have been loving telling people about it. So when clipping, let the stem tell you which ones are ready. Let me show you. All right. You see how the stem on this one is all gross and dry and like completely brittle? This one is ready to be cut, no matter what the body looks like. Now, by comparison, you can see this one. Still pretty green, still got life to it. So we're just gonna go around and find the ones that have dead dry stems. This one I'd say is probably about halfway there. We're gonna give it a little more time. There's a couple over here that are still perfectly healthy. And then there's a couple down here that actually, I couldn't keep them up off the ground. This whole thing started to collapse and we used a big piece of wood to brace it up. But once they hit the ground, they started to rot. So I gotta get those out of there and see what's what. I'm excited about that one. You wanna leave as much as you can. And there we go. It's our first one. I think next time I grow these, I'm gonna like force more of them into that crook shape. I really want to be able to like hang them off things without having to, you know, drill a hole in them and all that stuff towards the top. There's a couple crooked ones in the bunch though. Sweet. What is it, Muss? What is it?
Want me to move it for you?
You're so weird. I mean, as long as you're happy. You guys are gonna hear my dogs wrestling, I'm sorry. But I am going to cut all these down, and that should make room for me to actually get in there. Trying to give you guys a view of what I'm doing, but it's kind of cramped in here. Cut this vine. Just gotta slide on in there. I didn't think I'd ever make it back inside this thing. Pretty good view. You guys remember the video we did on Gourd Facts where we sat in here and hung out? And this entire thing was just getting started. If you missed that video though, you can find it on our channel. So it kind of looks like I climbed in here prematurely. Everything that I thought I needed to get a closer look at is still green and growing. So we ended up with 5 today. That's not bad for day 1. Let's see if we can get the heck out of here. Oh. Whew. Always a good time. These are the 4 I cut down. This one is completely dry. Well, actually, you can hear a little bit of dampness in the seeds there. Already got a hole. Thank you, bugs. But you can hear the seeds rattling around in there. Hang that up in the garage, that'll be lovely. These ones I'm not so sure about. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about these 3. Because these 3 don't look like this one. I think these guys might have to be burned. I don't know, let me know. But we got one. We're working on a pair of maracas. That is it for us today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me, and a hug and a kiss to all of our supporters on Patreon. You guys keep the garden growing. You can check out our Patreon here. You'll find spoilers, additional content, bonus episodes, and as it gets colder, hot tub chats. So come join me.